Imagine it's late summer. You step outside onto your patio balcony, or even just a small corner near your window, and instead of decorative plants that just sit there, you see fruit. Real fruit. Branches slightly bending under the weight of lemons, figs, maybe even small apples. Something you didn't just grow, but something you can actually harvest. Something that gives back. Now here's the part that surprises most people. You didn't need a backyard. You didn't need acres of land. And you definitely didn't need years of experience. All it took was choosing the right trees. Because here's the mistake most people make. They assume fruit trees are only for large spaces. They think you need deep soil, perfect conditions, and a lot of time, so they never even try. Or worse, they try once with the wrong tree and it fails. The leaves drop, the growth slows, no fruit. And they walk away thinking, fruit trees just don't work in pots. But that's not true. Not even close. Because there's a small group of gardeners doing something very different right now. They're growing fruit trees in containers, small spaces, patios, balconies, even indoors near windows. And not only are these trees surviving, they're producing. Year after year. Here's what they understand that most people don't. Not all fruit trees are the same. Some are built to stay compact. Some are naturally dwarf. Some adapt extremely well to containers. And when you choose the right ones, everything changes. You don't just grow a plant, you grow a food source. Something that reduces your grocery bill. Something that gives you fresh, chemical-free produce. Something that makes your space feel alive in a completely different way. Now here's the part most nurseries won't tell you. A lot of fruit trees they sell aren't meant for containers. They're meant to grow big, which means you struggle, you replace, you try again, and the cycle repeats. But once you know which trees actually thrive in pots, you break that cycle. So today I'm going to show you 13 fruit trees that thrive in containers and small spaces. These are trees that stay compact, produce reliably, adapt to pots, and require far less maintenance than most people expect. And I'll also show you one tree on this list, just one, that can completely change how you think about growing food at home. Now, before we get into the list, I want to know something. Where are you growing? Drop your state or your growing zone in the comments, because fruit trees are a little different. Climate matters more here. And as we go through this list, I'll point out which trees work best in different conditions so you don't waste time on the wrong ones. Also be honest for a second. Have you ever tried to grow something edible and it just didn't work? You watered it. You took care of it, but it never gave you anything back. That frustration is exactly what we're fixing today. Because once you understand how to choose the right tree, everything becomes easier. All right? Let's start with one of the most reliable, beginner-friendly fruit trees you can grow in a container. This is the one that makes people realize, wait, this is actually possible. Number 1. Lemon Tree Dwarf Citrus. Now this is the tree that changes everything for beginners. Because lemon trees don't just survive in containers. They thrive. Glossy green leaves, bright yellow fruit, and that clean, fresh citrus scent every time you brush past it. This is the moment container gardening stops feeling like a hobby and starts feeling real. Now here's the problem it solves. Most people want to grow food, but they don't want complexity. They don't want a tree that takes years just to maybe produce something. Lemon trees fix that, because many dwarf varieties can start producing much sooner than expected. And once they start, they keep going. Now here's the bonus value. They're incredibly adaptable to pots. In fact, growing them in containers gives you more control. You can move them, protect them from cold, adjust sunlight. That flexibility is what makes them so powerful. Now, here's the expert tip. Use a well-draining pot and don't let roots sit in water. Citrus hates soggy soil, but give it sunlight drainage and occasional feeding, and it will reward you. Now here's something most people overlook. Lemon trees are not just productive, they're decorative. They become a centerpiece, a conversation starter. And once people see fruit growing in a pot, everything changes. Now step back for a second. This is your first real producer. Not just greenery, not just decoration, but something that gives you a harvest. And that shifts your mindset, because now you realize you don't need land, you just need the right plant. Now the next tree on this list builds on this idea, but goes even further, because it doesn't just produce, it produces heavily. Number 2, fig tree dwarf fig. Now this is where things start to feel almost too easy, because fig trees are one of the most forgiving fruit trees you can grow in containers. Broad, tropical-looking leaves, a strong, compact structure, and fruit that develops quietly, then suddenly ripens all at once. This is the tree that makes people say, wait, that grew in a pot. Now here's the problem it solves. Many fruit trees are sensitive. They need perfect timing, pollination, or specific conditions. Figs don't. Most dwarf fig varieties are self-pollinating, which means you don't need multiple trees. You don't need insects. You don't need to overthink it. Now here's the bonus value. Figs actually prefer being slightly root-bound, which makes them ideal for containers. Instead of struggling in a pot, they adapt to it. They focus their energy on producing fruit instead of just growing bigger. Now, here's the expert tip. Give them full sun and don't overwater. Figs like warmth and slightly drier conditions once established. Too much water is one of the few ways to slow them down. Now, here's something powerful. Fig trees reward consistency. Once they settle in, they produce year after year with very little change in care. That reliability is what makes them perfect for lazy growing. Now step back again. You now have a citrus producer lemon, a low-maintenance heavy producer fig. Already your system is building. Different types of fruit, different strengths, same low-effort approach. And that's the key pattern you'll keep seeing. Now, the next tree on this list does something different, because it doesn't just grow well in containers. It was practically made for small spaces. Number 3, apple tree dwarf, columnar apple. Now this is where things start to feel surprising, because most people assume apple trees are massive. Backyard only. Impossible in containers. But that's outdated thinking. Dwarf and columnar apple trees completely change the game. Instead of spreading wide, they grow compact, upright, controlled, which makes them perfect for pots and small spaces. Now here's the problem it solves. Most people want familiar fruit, something they already eat, something they know they'll use, but they assume it's too complicated to grow. Apple trees fix that when you choose the right variety. Now here's the bonus value. Columnar apples grow vertically, which means you can fit them in tight spaces, balconies, patios, even along a wall. And dwarf varieties stay small enough to manage easily in containers. Now here's the expert tip. Choose self-pollinating varieties or plant 2 compatible trees. This is where many beginners fail. They grow one tree and wonder why fruit never forms. Get pollination right, and everything changes. Now here's something powerful. Apple trees give you seasonal rhythm, flowers in spring, growth in summer, fruit in late season. They turn your space into something that evolves over time, not just static greenery. Now, step back again. You now have citrus, lemon, easy producer fig, familiar fruit apple, different experiences, same container system. Now the next tree on this list takes a completely different approach, because it doesn't just stay small, it stays incredibly productive in tight spaces. Number 4, peach tree dwarf peach. Now this is where things start to feel rewarding, because peach trees don't just produce fruit, they produce moments. Soft pink blossoms in spring, fresh green growth in early summer, and then real juicy peaches forming right in your container. This is the kind of tree that makes people stop and look twice. Now here's the problem it solves. A lot of fruit trees take time. Years before you see results. Peach trees, especially dwarf varieties, can produce much faster, which means you don't wait forever to see success. Now here's the bonus value. Dwarf peaches stay compact, manageable, perfect for containers. And because they're smaller, they're easier to prune, shape, and control. Now here's the expert tip. Give them full sun and prune lightly each year. This keeps the tree open, improves airflow, and helps fruit develop better. Skip pruning, and production can drop. Simple habit, big impact. Now here's something powerful. Peach trees give you both beauty and function, flowers and fruit, which means even before harvest, they're already adding value to your space. Now step back again. You now have citrus, fig, apple, and now a fast reward fruit tree peach. Different timelines, different experiences, same low-effort system. Now the next tree on this list goes even further, because it thrives in containers and produces one of the most popular fruits in the world. Number 5, banana tree, dwarf banana. Now this is where things start to feel tropical, because banana trees don't just grow, they transform your space. Large, dramatic leaves, fast vertical growth, and a presence that makes even a small patio feel like a completely different environment. Now here's the problem it solves. Most fruit trees feel slow. They take time to show results. But banana trees, they grow fast, very fast, which means you see progress almost immediately. Now here's the bonus value. Dwarf banana varieties are perfect for containers. They stay smaller than traditional banana plants, but still produce real fruit under the right conditions. And even if fruit takes time, the visual impact alone makes them worth it. Now here's the expert tip. Give them warmth, sunlight, and consistent water. Bananas love heat, they love moisture, and when you meet those needs, they explode with growth. Now here's something powerful. Banana trees create atmosphere. They're not just about fruit. They change how your space feels. Relaxed, lush, alive. Now step back again. You now have citrus, fig, apple, peach, and now a fast-growing tropical banana. Different climates, different styles, same container strategy. Now the next tree on this list shifts direction again, because it doesn't just grow well, it produces one of the easiest fruits you can harvest. Number 6, strawberry tree, container strawberries. Now this is where things become incredibly practical, because strawberries are one of the easiest and fastest fruits you can grow in containers. Low-growing plants, bright red fruit, and a harvest that keeps coming in waves. This is the plant that gives you quick wins. Now here's the problem it solves. Most fruit trees take time, but strawberries, they produce fast, which means you don't wait months or years to see results. Now here's the bonus value. They spread naturally. Runners extend outward and create new plants. So one container can turn into multiple over time. Now here's the expert tip. Use wide, shallow containers and give them good sunlight. Strawberries don't need deep pots. They need space to spread. Now here's something powerful. They're perfect for small spaces, balconies, railings, even hanging containers. Now step back again. You now have trees for structure. And now, fast fruit producers, strawberries. This adds speed to your system. Now the next tree on this list goes back to something more traditional, but still works perfectly in containers. Number 7, cherry tree, dwarf cherry. Now this is where things start to feel premium, because cherries are one of those fruits people assume are impossible to grow at home, especially in containers. But dwarf cherry trees change that completely. Compact growth, beautiful spring blossoms, and deep red fruit that feels like something you'd only get from a store. Now here's the problem it solves. People want high-value fruit, something that feels special, but they assume it requires space and complexity. Dwarf cherry trees remove that barrier. Now here's the bonus value. They stay small and controlled, perfect for patios, balconies, and tight areas. And many modern varieties are self-pollinating, which makes things even easier. Now here's the expert tip. Give them full sun and protect from strong wind. Cherries need good light to produce well, and stable conditions help fruit develop properly. Now here's something powerful. Cherry trees bring both beauty and reward. Flowers in spring, fruit later, which means they add value across seasons. Now step back again. You now have fast fruit strawberries, premium fruit cherry. Your system is becoming more diverse, more valuable. Now the next tree on this list adds something different again, because it thrives in warm climates and produces one of the most refreshing fruits you can grow. Number 8. Orange tree dwarf orange. Now this is where things start to feel complete. Because if lemon trees got you started, orange trees take it to the next level. Richer fruit, sweeter taste, and that same glossy green foliage that makes your container look alive year-round. Now here's the problem it solves. Some people love the idea of citrus, but want something easier to enjoy daily. Something sweeter, something more versatile. Orange trees give you that. Now here's the bonus value. Just like lemons, dwarf orange trees thrive in containers. They stay compact. They respond well to pruning, and they can be moved indoors when temperatures drop. Now here's the expert tip. Rotate the pot every few weeks. This ensures even sunlight exposure and balanced growth. Small detail, but it keeps your tree looking symmetrical and healthy. Now here's something powerful. Orange trees give you consistency. Once established, they become part of your routine. Water, sunlight, occasional feeding, and they just keep producing. Now step back again. You now have citrus variety, lemon plus orange, fast producers, premium fruits. Your system is no longer basic. It's becoming a mini food ecosystem. Now the next tree on this list adds something unexpected, because it grows differently than most fruit trees and thrives in ways people don't expect. Number 9, pomegranate, dwarf pomegranate. Now this is where things start to feel unique. Because pomegranate trees bring something different, bright orange-red flowers, followed by bold textured fruit. In a container, they stand out immediately. Now here's the problem it solves. Most people grow the same fruits. Apples, citrus, maybe berries, but they want something that feels different, something that looks impressive. Pomegranate gives you that. Now here's the bonus value. Dwarf pomegranate varieties are extremely container-friendly. They tolerate heat. They handle dry conditions better than most fruit trees. And they still produce reliably. Now here's the expert tip. Don't overwater. Like figs, pomegranates prefer slightly drier soil once established. Too much water can reduce fruit production. Now, here's something powerful. Pomegranate trees are tough. They handle stress better than most, which makes them perfect for low-maintenance setups. Now step back again. You now have citrus, stone fruit, berries, tropical. And now, a resilient, unique producer pomegranate. Your system is expanding in variety, without increasing complexity. Now, the next tree on this list adds something even more interesting, because it doesn't just grow fruit. It grows fruit almost continuously under the right conditions. Number 10, guava tree, dwarf guava. Now, this is where things start to feel tropical and productive at the same time. Because guava trees are one of the few fruit trees that can produce heavily in containers while still staying compact. Glossy leaves, fast growth, and fruit that develops quickly once the plant is established. Now here's the problem it solves. Some fruit trees take too long to produce. You wait and lose motivation. Guava changes that. Under the right conditions, it can fruit relatively quickly compared to other trees. Now here's the bonus value. It thrives in warm climates and containers. It adapts well, and it doesn't need perfect conditions to perform. Now, here's the expert tip. Keep it warm and give it consistent sunlight. Guava loves heat. The more warmth it gets, the better it produces. Now, here's something powerful. Guava trees can produce multiple times a year in the right climate, which means you're not waiting for one harvest. You're getting ongoing returns. Now, step back again. You now have citrus, stone fruit, tropical fast producers. And now, repeat, harvest trees, guava. Your system is no longer seasonal. It's becoming continuous. Now the next tree on this list adds something even more interesting, because it's one of the easiest fruits to grow indoors. Number 11, Calamondin indoor citrus. Now this is where everything becomes flexible, because calamondin trees are one of the few fruit trees that can thrive indoors. Small, compact size, continuous fruiting, and a balance between ornamental and edible value. Now here's the problem it solves. Limited space, no outdoor area, unstable weather. Calamondin removes all of that. It grows well near windows. It adapts to indoor conditions, and it still produces fruit. Now here's the bonus value. It fruits almost year-round under the right conditions, which means you're not waiting for seasons. You're harvesting continuously. Now here's the expert tip. Give it as much light as possible. A south-facing window works best, and rotate it regularly for even growth. Now here's something powerful. This is the plant that proves the entire concept. You don't need land. You don't even need a yard. You just need the right plant in the right container. Now, step back and look at everything you've built. Citrus stone fruit, tropical fast producers, premium fruits, continuous harvest, indoor capability. This is no longer gardening. This is a system that produces food, saves money, and transforms your space. Now here's the truth. Growing fruit in containers isn't hard. It only feels hard when you choose the wrong trees. But when you choose the right ones, everything works. So here's what I want to know. Which tree are you starting with? And what does your space look like right now? Drop it in the comments. And if this changed how you think about growing food at home, make sure you subscribe, because once you understand the system, you'll never go back to guessing again.